everybody, it's episode 320 of PodQuest.
Hey!
It's Wednesday, October 7th, 2020. I am Chris. With me is Walnut.
Yeah.
And Druten.
Hello.
How you guys doing?
I'm still stuck in Hades, so, you know.
I'm tired. Just tired.
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah, well, when you you actually do have a separation anxiety-ridden dog who is living at your house. So you actually have been there.
Is the dog that you're watching for your parents have separation anxiety?
We believe so. Probably. That's why he's here. Besides the fact that they're trying to sell their house and my mom's not home, or not saying she's not home, she's away for the foreseeable future. Yeah, that's most of the reason why he's here.
Well, I mean, at least it's still quarantine, so, like, you're not really going out much anyway. Yeah,
true. But he's a handful. He still hasn't eaten his breakfast.
That's Kaylee. She doesn't like to eat.
Yeah, he sometimes will eat, and so, like, I dumped his breakfast and put out his dinner, and he hasn't eaten it. Maybe he'll eat at, like, 7, 8 o'clock tonight, and then I'll give him his treat shortly after that, because we have to go to bed soon.
Yeah, that seems about right.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll jump into things. Did you guys see the whole tomb thing in Egypt this past week?
I saw something on Twitter about mummies and tombs, but I didn't really read into it.
So this is actually pretty cool, but also funny. They discovered a tomb in Egypt with 59 mummies in it. That date from about 2,600 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
The funny part of this is, you know, mummies and tombs in Egypt weren't trending on Twitter. Brendan Fraser was trending on Twitter.
You know what? That's a good reason for him to be trending. I'm sure he loved it.
Well, I looked. He does not appear to have a Twitter account, but
no, he doesn't. That's right. He's not on a lot of, if any, social media.
But yeah, it was a lot. Well, because they found these 59 sarcophagi.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, maybe.
Yes,
sure.
Sarcophagi.
And they opened one, like, on camera and everything like that. So it was a lot of tweets of people being like, "Yo, guys, Brendan Fraser did this in 1999 and it went bad."
I mean, technically he did it in, like, the mid-40s or 50s.
It was like the 20s or 30s.
Actually, yeah, you're right. I thought it was later than that. 40s and 50s is Indiana Jones. Yeah, he's like the 20s and 30s.
Indiana Jones is 30s, 40s, and 50s, motherfucker.
Yeah, I'm just saying, no. Like, Indiana Jones was Nazis. Brendan Fraser was not Nazis.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, this was... It's actually a very cool thing to have found, just because, you know, I mean, it's 55 intact mummies. Well, I mean, like, the tombs were intact, at least. Like, no one had gotten in there and, like, ransacked them, from what I was reading.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty big find.
Mm-hmm.
Or it could just, like, make this year of apocalypse be even worse, because, you know, mummy curses and shit like that. Like, come on, guys. It's 2020. You shouldn't have done this.
I mean...
Maybe it's exactly what we needed to end all this bullshit.
Gonna get
maybe it unleashes a plague that kills the other plagues.
I'm gonna get political here. Trump didn't test positive for coronavirus until after this was opened.
I don't think that's true. Is that true?
No, you're right. It was this weekend, not last weekend. I've got my time frame mixed up. It's wrong. I'm incorrect. So Trump was coronavirus positive before this.
All right then. But yeah, so they found mummies, and it got Brendan Fraser trending on Twitter, and I appreciated that.
Yes, I think we all do. Brendan Fraser's a man.
Yeah, he is basically the only reason I want to watch Doom Patrol.
I hear Doom Patrol's really good. I've never watched it, but I just hear it's really good, and he is definitely a main part in it.
Yeah, no, he's the robot dude.
Yeah.
I mean, it's on HBO Max, so it's available.
Yeah. It was on Plex as well. I just never got around to watching it.
Thief.
I didn't steal it. Somebody else did and gave it to me.
I'm just saying, you're a pirate, and I'm not the good kind.
Oh no, I was pirating from DC. I was pirating from WB. So
look, just because WB is a big faceless corporation doesn't mean the hundreds of people that worked on those shows that made next to nothing don't deserve, you know, whatever they get from that shit actually getting paid for, if anything.
They probably wouldn't have gotten anything.
Yeah, you're most likely right. So, moving on from that, because I just want to bring that up real quick. This past week, I read the 12 issues of the Superior Spider-Man series, which is, it's not the one from like 10 years, Jesus, almost 10 years ago now. It was a more recent series that ran from 2018 to 2019. It actually finished up almost a year ago.
Okay.
But just like that Superior Spider-Man, like the original run of it, this was Doc Ock as Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So comic books, he was cloned into his original body again. And then him being a genius managed to use that cloning technology to make him a better body that was some sort of weird DNA combination of his genetics and Pete's genetics.
Because that's not creepy or anything.
Yeah. Well, he wanted the spider powers.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
But it also, like, he looked like a different person too. He went by a different name, but he was trying to be a good guy. Cause he still had all of Pete's memories.
Yeah.
But he's also still, like, an egotistical jerk all of the time.
Mm-hmm.
But it was probably one of the best, like, villain redemption arc books I have ever read. Or just, like, period, like, in anything. Cause, like, all 12 issues, he's an asshole to basically everybody. But then there's, like, these little moments where, like, he does something completely out of character that's, like, genuinely good.
Yeah.
And then, like, I'm gonna spoil the end of it because it's a year old at this point. At the end of it, an alternate version of Norman Osborn comes and starts basically ruining his life.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to stop him, he realizes that, like, having a moral compass is actually making it harder.
Yeah.
So he tries to make a deal with Mephisto, who is like the Marvel's version of Satan, or a version of Satan, I should say, to basically lose his moral compass for a period of time so that he can, like, finish stuff. But Mephisto basically tells him to go kick rocks because, like, why would he do that? Like, he gets nothing from it. Like, Octavius was already a villain, so he's probably going to hell anyway. So his counteroffer is he will put him back into his original body, and lose all of the memories that he had from Pete, but remember everything that he had done. So, like, all of the good things he had done, he'll remember. He just won't have all of Pete's memories from, like, growing up and not having a shitty life.
Okay.
And, like, Mephisto's reasoning was, you keep saying that you were only a bad guy because you were mentally unbalanced. So, cause, the whole story, he was basically saying that, like, the reason he was a villain for so long was he basically had brain damage from the accident that, gave him control of the metal arms.
Mm-hmm.
But so, like, this story ends with him back in his original body, and, like, definitely playing up being a villain again, but doing a bunch of stuff that he definitely wouldn't have done if he was. So it leaves that weird interpretation of, like, is he going to pop back up in a book as a bad guy, or is he going to pop back up and, like, try and help somebody at some point?
Mm-hmm.
It sounds to me like he's probably gonna more so become, like, sort of an anti-hero / like, what's the word? Like Suicide Squad type of character.
Well, I mean, they're anti-heroes.
Well, I know, but I also isn't Deadpool sort of considered an anti-hero because he's like, would it be Deadpool or would it be Ghost Rider? Aren't they, like, kind of considered anti-heroes because, like,
both of them? Same with, like, Punisher and Blade to an extent. Yeah. Even Wolverine kind of gets thrown in that that realm. But it's just, it was kind of a bummer because him as Spider-Man, or him just as a not Doc Ock, is such a compelling story.
Yeah.
Because, like, even though, like, as the story went on, people knew, like, figured out or, like, knew who he was already. But it was one of those where, like, there were heroes vouching for him after it got out that, like, the guy running around as Spider-Man in San Francisco was actually Doc Ock in a different body. There were people at, like, the place he was working that were just like, look, like, you've proven that you're different. Like, you did a whole bunch of selfless things that, like, you wouldn't have done as the crazy supervillain. So, like, we'll give you a shot.
Yeah.
And now it's just like, oh yeah, now he just looks like a supervillain again. Like, he's got the mechanical arms and the shitty bowl cut and the bad green jumpsuit.
But
it's like, man,
does he still have, like, the brain damage that makes him imbalanced, or did?
So that's the thing. We honestly don't know. So it ends with it's basically he acts like he is the villain again.
Okay.
But he doesn't go all the way. Like, he beats Osborn and sends him back to his, like, dimension, but he doesn't kill him. He just, like, breaks all of his bones in a way that he'll never properly heal from, which is 100% something that he would have also done as Spider-Man. Cause he's just, like, even though he was being a good guy, he also didn't have a whole lot of restraint for those things.
Yeah.
But, like, there was a little boy that, like, he saved in, like, issue 2 that, like, saved the little boy, and then also found out that the little boy's mother died, like, at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, he'd been, like, trying to, like, keep an eye on him and, like, help the kid. And at the end, you find out that, like, he set up, like, a trust fund in the kid's name so that he would never have to worry about money.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so, like, he did a bunch of, like, good things as Doc Ock, but, like, he was also acting like a shitty villain, and even said, like, so at one point he says he doesn't remember, like, who Spider-Man actually is, and he doesn't entirely remember the things that he did previously as Spider-Man, like in the original Superior Spider-Man book, but he remembers his time in San Francisco, and he has, like, hints of what happened to him prior to that.
Yeah.
But he tells, like, these two characters who, one of them knows Pete, basically, like, tell him next time he sees me, like, I will be Dr. Octopus, you know, finally foil, like, defeating him or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, is that real, or is that just you being sort of, like, a pompous asshole?
Who knows? That is an interesting way to end it, because they built it up as such a redemption arc, to be like, oh no, he's just bad again. I would understand being bummed about that.
Yeah, and it's been, you know, like I said, it's been almost a decade. I think, I want to say it's, like, I forget what the name of the story was, but the story was, like, 2012, 2013, where it, like, Doc Ock put his brain, basically, not, like, physically, but, like, all his consciousness into Pete's body and, like, took it over.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, that ran for, I think, a year and a half, maybe 2 years.
Yeah.
And now, like, you know, it's been quite a while where the character has popped up during different things. Like, there was a short, like, mini-series called Superior Octopus, where he was in this cloned body, but he was going by, but he picked back up, like, the Doc Ock sort of theme.
Mm-hmm.
But just looked like Spider-Man in green, really.
Yeah.
And then this book picked up with him being Spider-Man again, so. But yeah, I hope they find a way to like, do that character justice after all of that.
Yeah, like, keep him, like, maybe do him more of, like, a, like, more of, like, a Mr. Freeze style, where, like, he only does bad because he's trying to do good, kind of thing. At least,
that's really not Mr. Freeze anymore, though.
At least that's original Mr. Freeze, like Mr. Freeze from, like, the 90s cartoon and stuff like that. Like,
yeah, like, he was just trying to save his wife, so fuck everybody else.
He was trying to save his wife, so everything he did, all the bad that he did, was, like, for science. And, like, he wasn't, like, robbing it, like, he wasn't trying to murder people. He was just like, I need these chemicals, or I need this equipment to save my wife. I need to do science.
But, so, I mean, that was always kind of Doc Ock's, like, modus operandi too. Like, he wasn't always just going around stealing to get rich, like a lot of villains. He was stealing things to do, like, his experiments and to prove that he was the superior intellect in the world. So, like, honestly, like, the bummer is a story about a late middle-aged guy with an ego problem isn't going to be as compelling as a Spider-Man book where Spider-Man has an ego problem.
Yeah.
But, you know, we'll see. It's like I said, it's almost been a year at this point, so I haven't seen the character pop up in anything else, but that doesn't mean that he won't sometime soon.
So, I got a question to ask you, and let me ask it fully before you chime in, because I know what I'm gonna ask. It might come off as like like I'm absolutely wrong. But question is, would you consider Spider-Man the equivalent to DC's Batman? In the vein, not saying that Spider-Man is rich and a billionaire playboy philanthropist like Iron Man, but more so, he's always forming up these teams. He's got the Spider team, like Batman has the Bat team. He's super smart. He's got this intellect. Yeah, he has powers, but he's super acrobatic. Like, but more in the vein of like I said, the team, the Bat team, the Spider team, because you got now.
No, because Spider-Man doesn't really have a team. So there are a lot of Spider-themed characters, but they are very rarely actually associated with Spider-Man.
They don't often team up like the Bat team does, where it's like you got, what is it, the Red Hood, Robin, Nightwing, Does Batwoman still team up with them? I know it was only in like the one movie, I think.
No, I mean Batwoman's around. So like you have like the Bat family historically would be Batman and then Damian, Robin, Nightwing, Red Hood, Batgirl, and Tim Drake, Robin, or whatever he decides to go by. Batwoman wasn't trained by Batman. She's like a legit soldier.
Yeah.
Just like in the show, she is Bruce's cousin.
Yeah. But like she's still part of like the Bat team, Bat family type of thing, right?
Yeah, like overarching, yes, but like her and Bruce tend to not get along often. Mm-hmm. So
yeah,
like there are books where like she's on the team. There are books where she's not. Similar with Red Hood. Like Red Hood definitely goes back and forth between being welcome in Gotham City and not being welcome.
And that's the Red Hood is where I'm hoping they bring this Doc Ock story. Like the Red Hood, he's killing drug dealers and shit like that. Or he's running the drug... Like, I'm only going off of Under the Red Hood, the movie, where, like, he runs the drug ring, but it's like, oh, you're not allowed to sell to kids and shit like that.
That's similar to what Luke Cage did in that second season of Luke Cage.
Yeah, it was the second. At the end of the second season, he took over, like, the gangster ring in Harlem.
Yeah, but to answer your question, no, I wouldn't. Oh. I wouldn't consider. I mean, honestly, I would consider Spider-Man closer to Superman.
Okay, yeah, I can. I can get that. Yeah.
Beyond just the colors, honestly, like even in the books themselves, like they are kind of they are oftentimes considered the best of the heroes.
Yeah.
Like Spider-Man gets a lot of shit from everybody, but there's always like those books where either somebody from the future or like something like that'll pop up and basically point out that like, oh no, yeah, like he's actually the one that's better than all of you.
Yeah.
He just takes too much on himself.
Yeah.
And like, that's kind of like Superman. Superman also has that like extended cast of super characters, but not necessarily characters that don't completely stand on their own too. Mm-hmm. And not that like, at this point all the Batman characters do, but they've all started in Batman's shadow for the most part. None of the spider-centric characters stood in Peter's shadow.
Okay.
Miles would be the closest thing, but that's a different Peter, too.
Yeah.
But you figure, like, Spider-Gwen's from a different universe where she got powers and Pete didn't. Spider-Woman is the whole fucking disaster history.
Yeah.
Like, she was a villain's, science experiment.
Okay. Like, I know she spits venom or something, right?
No, she has a similar thing to, like, Miles's Venom Blast. Like, she can do, like that sort of thing. But she can also secrete pheromones.
That's it, yeah.
But yeah, she was, like, injected with, like, different stuff in, like, the womb and shit like that. And she had all sorts of weird experiments done on her, like, both pre-birth and after-birth that turned her into what she is.
Yeah.
And then, like some of the other ones are, like, also just sort of, they're ancillarily connected to Spider-Man. Like, they might be introduced in his books, but they generally don't spend a lot of time with him.
Yeah. Okay.
Whereas, like, basically everyone in the Bat family was a Robin at some point.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't realize that, like, the Spider team doesn't really team up. I thought, like, they were all just in New York and from time to time, but, like, for the most part, they, like, kind of work together because they're all Spider people.
Really, just on the crossovers, on the Spider-centric crossovers.
Like I was gonna say, it more seems like they'll just kind of randomly one-off. Here's a random thing that they're teamed up for.
Yeah, like Pete will show up Pete shows up in Miles's book from time to time, but it's more in that sort of mentory way of like just basically checking in on him, making sure he's okay. But like those issues never really have them teaming up unless there's like a larger thing going on.
Okay.
And same thing with all the other ones. Like especially like Spider-Woman and Spider-Man are basically as disconnected as you can get.
Yeah. The question was more about like Gwen and Miles, and with Superior being like, well, is he going to be like the Red Hood now? And like, he's kind of going to do good, but maybe not really.
I mean, he also hates Pete. Like, Pete actually kept vouching for him, which like did not turn out poorly. Mm-hmm. But like, he actually even came out to San Francisco in one of the issues to try and like talk to him. And like, Ock just kept telling him to basically go fuck himself.
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't know. Like, he made a good point, though. He's like, what the fuck is wrong with you, dude? You're smart enough you could have a fucking Nobel Prize right now, but instead you're just constantly, like, stumbling through life. Get your shit together.
Yeah, that is always the thing that's driven me nuts about Peter Parker. Like,
well, like, the year and a half or whatever that, like, Otto was in control of him, like, he got him his doctorate, he founded a company, like, he was rich.
Yeah.
And then, like, Pete gets it back, and, like, 6 months later, ruins the company, is poor, gets fired from every job.
Yeah.
Loses his doctorate for plagiarizing because Doc Ock had control of his body, and the writing matched something that he had written, like, years prior.
Okay.
So, like, you know, just everything. Anyway, though, Overwatch is going to be free for Nintendo Switch Online subscribers from October 13th to the 20th.
Nice.
That's a good game.
It is. I wonder how it's going to play on Switch.
It should run pretty well, I would say.
Probably fine. I mean, I've played maybe a total of 10 matches in that game, so I don't really know how super crazy it can be, but it'll probably run fine on the Switch. Like,
I imagine it'll run better docked.
Oh, definitely. Everything runs and looks better docked. So,
but like, I'm wondering if it'll be like noticeably hard to play handheld.
Ooh, probably.
Like, aside from that, like, from just it being smaller and like being harder to maybe like notice things, like, that game has a lot going on depending on the level you're in and how many, like, what characters are being used.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And this is going to be the full unlock of the game. So all characters, all game modes, and if you purchase it after the demo, or the beta, whatever you want to call it, I guess it's not a beta because the game's already out. If you purchase it afterward, if you purchase the Legendary Edition afterwards, any progress that you make in it will carry over.
Yeah.
So like any levels or like, unlocks for like, cosmetics.
I think that's what they normally do when they do these free weekends. It's like, your progress continues if you buy it after the free weekend or during the free weekend or whatever.
You're probably right. I wasn't 100% sure.
Yeah,
I don't know for sure.
I think they did that the last time I think it was free for a weekend, like a year or so ago on the PlayStation. And like I played it, and like I vaguely remember them being like, all your progress holds, or anything you got stays if you buy it. So I don't know though. But yeah, I'm sure it'll run fine. Handheld might be a little iffy, but manageable.
Yeah,
because
that seems accurate.
It runs on my PC, but on like low settings only to run smoothly. So I'd say the Switch is probably at least a decent bit more powerful than my PC. So I'd imagine it'll generally run fine.
Yeah, I might download it and check it out if I remember. I mean, it's a pretty good gap of time, so
yeah,
I don't imagine I'm going to forget.
It's a week, so at some point you can play it for a week or for a few days during that week. I might try it out, check it out, see if I like it on there or not. But I haven't even downloaded Rocket League on there yet.
Man, you're just the worst.
I've got other shit to play.
You don't, though.
I do. I've got a lot of shit to play.
Come on. Rocket League's just full crossplay on everything, right?
I think so.
I think it's like...
If anything, it would be everything but PlayStation, but I think it is everything.
I think it's everything but PlayStation/Xbox, because PlayStation and Xbox won't crossplay together, but like, Nintendo can crossplay with both, and PC can crossplay with both, but they can't crossplay with each other. I think that's how it is, or something.
That might be the case. I honestly don't know. I haven't really looked into that. But either way, Rocket League's very good, and it's free to play, so...
Yeah.
You guys know what else is free to play?
What's that?
Mario 35.
Dude, that game's great.
I like it a lot.
I disagree that it is great. I think
it's
you do. Serviceable, but it's
It has a lot of problems, but I enjoy it a whole lot.
For an essentially free game, it's exactly what I was expecting. Like, it's Tetris 99, but with the original Mario. The only thing that drives me nuts is that as you beat levels, it doesn't just bring you to the next level. I
kind of like that. I like the weirdness of it. What I don't like is picking a level at the start, like before it starts, doesn't seem to do anything at all.
Oh, agreed. Yes, I tried multiple times. I always started in 1-1.
Yeah, no, it's always 1-1. I don't know if it's some sort of, like, voting, where, like, if enough people pick a level, that's what level 2 will be or something like that. But, yeah, it does absolutely nothing from what I can see.
Yeah, I would much rather just continue playing through the game, because it's like, I've done multiple matches where it's just back and forth with the first and second level.
See, I mean, I purposely do that sometimes, because they're the easiest levels to get through, and I know exactly where the power stars are to be able to just bolt through enemies and just send loads of them at other people.
I want to be able to progress with the game. Like, there was one or two times I got into Bowser's Castle, or King Koopa, because it's original NES, so it's King Koopa, not Bowser. Got into King Koopa's castle once, and made my way through, but died trying to fight him.
How many times have you played this?
I mean, I don't know.
What level you're at?
I'm like level 18.
Okay, I'm level 53.
Yeah.
Damn.
I play a lot. I get the castle all the time, but I also, unless I'm doing something stupid, just fucking around, I generally don't die unless I'm in the top 5.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I end up getting through a lot of levels because I've also played so much original Mario that I can get through those levels pretty quickly as long as I don't, like, fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I'm same here. Like, I can average probably top 8. It's like, unless I slide a little too much or I overjump and just fuck myself up entirely. But, like, playing the first 2 levels over and over, it gets, to me, it's boring. Like, I'm getting a million things sent to me because 3 people are attacking me. Alright, fine, I'm attacking on my attackers, so that's how I always set it up. I always set it to attack my attackers.
Well, so it doesn't make sense to do anything else.
Yeah, no.
So, attacking the person with the lowest time. So, like, the 4 options are attack your attackers, attack the most coins, attack people with the least time, or random.
Yeah.
The least time, by sending them enemies, you're giving them time.
Yeah, if they're killing all the enemies, you're giving them time. Unless their time is so low that they're frantically trying to, like, I don't know, get to the flag at each level, but still, like, it doesn't make sense to send enemies to people with least time.
Exactly. Cause, like, the 2 ways I die most often are I do something stupid.
Yeah.
I overjump something by not paying, like, I almost never get hit by an enemy and die.
Yeah.
Like, what people are throwing at me are not the cause of death. It's me falling into a pit or, doing something stupid like that.
It's
the second most common is getting down to the final 3 and running out of time because people aren't killing things anymore.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I had it happen twice where I had, like, back-to-back, like, the water level followed by the 1-3, which is the platform in the sky level.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Where, like, there's just not a lot of enemies to take out in those levels easily. So if your time starts getting low, you're fucked.
Yeah.
And I just happened to get those levels when my time had already started to run out because we'd been going so long with just 3 players, that, yeah, I got to the fucking flagpole on the 1 and, like, was in the air when my time ran out.
Damn.
I mean, not that it would have helped that much, because it would have given me 15 seconds if I hit the top, but it still would have been, like, 15 seconds where if, like, I got world, like, 1-1, I maybe could have, like, pulled something together.
Yeah, if you got world 1-1, you could have gotten a few kills, jumped the pipe, and ran over and gotten the flag at the highest to get another 15 seconds to keep going forward.
But I think I've gotten most of the levels between worlds 1 through 4.
I mean, I only played like 7 times, but I only saw 5 levels in that entire game. Like, I saw 1-1, 1-2, 1-3, 1-4, and 2-3 are the only 5 levels I ever saw.
I think the only ones I haven't seen yet are 3-4 and 4-4 and, like, 4-3.
Yeah, I don't like that. It should just be straight through. Like you said, you got unlucky rolls with having 2 water levels back to back. where it fucked you up. Like, if it had just gone straight through, you might not have had that. But also, the levels get harder the further worlds you get into. That, like, it makes the game more challenging and maybe makes the rounds take less time because...
Dude, they take too fucking long.
I mean, and, like, I'm fine with that, but, like, yeah, like, Drew, it sounds like you don't like how long it takes.
Well, it's less how long it takes in general. It's the fact that it'll be like 32 people get eliminated in 5 minutes, then the last 3 people takes 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when the average game is 20 minutes to win, that is pretty long. See, I liked this better than Tetris because while I like Tetris, I'm not good at Tetris and I don't really have fun with Tetris. Well, that Tetris, I should say. Like, I'm bad at it. Like, so I'm not good at getting multiple lines. Like, I always play Tetris very, like, one line at a time. Which I know is the wrong way to play Tetris. But, like, I'm not good at it. Like, and I never played a lot of Tetris to begin with. So, when you have people dumping lines on you, and I'm not able to dump them back, like, I just never had fun with Tetris 99.
Yeah, I mean, I loved Tetris 99. I had a lot of fun with it when it originally came out. I haven't played it much in a while, but like I said, I have a ton of shit I need to play. But like playing Mario 35, I sit here and I'm like, I wish this game wasn't limited time. I really do.
Yeah, and like I think that they could make changes to it, like add different modes, kind of like they did with Tetris, to make it a little more like, okay, this mode is play it linear for people that want to be able to play straight through the game. But like the only thing that I don't like about it not being linear is when you get to some of the warp zones. So like 1-2, you can go to the warp pipes, and pick a level. But like I've had it where my options were 1-1, 1-2, and 1-1. I'm just like,
same.
The fuck?
Yeah.
But then like there's other times where it's like, oh, I can go to 1-4 and get a Bowser on somebody like right away.
Yeah.
So I think it just hit me how the world selections, why the worlds are always like the same ones. And I think it has to do with like picking worlds or picking levels before each game, because like I think if you go to the special mode, that's a set track that you play, set worlds or set levels.
Yes.
So I think the game is basing the levels you go to based on what levels everyone picked. So say there's 35 of you and all 35 of you picked 1-1. You're going to play 1-1 35, 36 times before you progress to a new level.
I don't think that's the case.
Yeah, I don't think that's the case either, because how would you unlock the next levels?
There's that, and also I picked one time I have 2-3 is on the options of picking for me. I picked that 2-3 never came up.
Oh, how many screens? How many times did you beat the level? Like
that was the game. That was the game I got to 3rd, so probably 30 levels.
You might have been 35 or 36. Like I said, I don't know for sure. I just decided to try to look this up, and I don't have really the time or the know-how to what to write to try to figure that out right now while we're talking.
I don't think anybody knows, because Nintendo didn't release any information on this. There's not even instructions on how to play the game, really.
They did the same with Tetris 99, though.
No, exactly.
Yeah,
that wasn't
Tetris.
And that wasn't a complaint. It was just like, I don't think you're going to be able to search and know. Because like, I read an article earlier today on IGN about, it was like tips to play Mario 35, and I was curious what they were. One of them is pick a level at the beginning. You know, maybe give yourself the fire flower right away and pick a water level. This way you launch right into a water level and can start sending bloopers and fish to people. I'm like, that's not how this fucking works. Did you even play this game before you wrote this?
Why would you... I wonder if bloopers and fish would be able to move in a non-water area.
Yes.
Yeah, have you not gotten them?
No.
Have you? Yeah.
The only thing I've encountered not in its normal habitat is Bowser.
Yeah, no, every enemy can be on every screen, so
also,
bloopers just fly. And the fish are like the flying fish levels, like 2-3, where like they're just constantly raining from the bottom of the screen above you.
Okay.
And they honestly, if you can get a lot of them on somebody's level, they do actually make it incredibly hectic.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like the only added on enemy that's happened to me that like is actually a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, like them and bloopers are like the two that can really fuck your day up. Cause like, even like Hammer Bros, if you have a Fire Flower, you can take them out from a distance and they're not a problem.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But with the fish and the bloopers, like, they don't move in any sort of static pattern, so you can't. Like, you have to get lucky and hope that you don't jump when a fucking blooper comes out of the ground.
Yeah.
Or not,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, a fish, not a blooper. Cause like, I have lost a lot of power-ups that way. Like, trying to hit one thing, jumping, and then having a fucking fish just pop out of nowhere and, like, hit me in the back of the head.
Mm-hmm.
But luckily I always have coins, cause, like, the, 1-ups give you 20.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And there's the 1-up at the beginning of 1-1, and then there's the 1-up
Midway through
like,
1-2.
Yeah, like right off that, there's that floating block area, and
Yeah.
you hit that, you hit the space next to it, you get that 1-up. So that's 40 coins right there, so that's 2 random power-ups.
I didn't realize that was coins. I thought that was time.
No, so the way it ends up working is 1-ups give you coins.
Yeah.
So you basically can start 1-1 with a random power-up if you need it.
Yeah.
I mean, also if you take the warp pipe at the beginning of 1-1, there's 20 coins in there.
Yeah, but then you're missing the chance to get extra time.
And enemies.
So, cause the thing with 1-1 is you hit that question mark block if you, depending on how you play. So if you start the game, like I have so many coins that I just start every game with, at least the mushroom.
I start every game with a Fire Flower. It makes no sense to start it with anything but that.
So I don't always need the Fire Flower to start. Like, I like, cause it's at least a little challenging that way. But every power-up other than the stars, which stack, that you get beyond the first one, adds time.
Yeah.
So any Fire Flowers or mushrooms you collect when you don't need them, I think adds 10
I
seconds?
think it's 15, because I start with the Fire Flower, and I hit the mushroom box right at the beginning of 1-1, and I get the Fire Flower, which is 15 seconds. I believe.
It could be 10 for the mushroom, 15 for the fire flower. I don't know, but it's definitely 15 for the fire flower.
Okay. I mean, to be fair, like, you don't often get mushrooms if you're already big.
Yeah.
I've only had that happen, like, twice on, like, a random chance where I had hit X to get a power-up, and then came to a block, and, like, the power-up hadn't hit yet.
Yeah.
Like, it hadn't finished going through the roulette when I hit the block.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but if you kill an enemy with a Fire Flower, it's just 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
If you kill them by jumping on them, it's like 2s.
Yeah.
And then if you kill them while you have a Power Star, it looks like it's 3. Same thing if you kill a bunch of them with a shell.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure. You might be right. You've played a lot more than me, but I swear I remember seeing like enemies sent to me add more time than enemies naturally
Nope.
on screen.
No.
Because I was killing things with Fire Flowers, I was getting 1 and 2 seconds.
Were you the things you were getting 2 on? Were you definitely not jumping on them?
It would be in 2-1 or 1-2 where you have to break the bricks because you're big, and I'm just throwing fireballs through the little jumpy thing or through the little crevice. And
Wait, you have to break bricks because you're big.
right at the beginning of 1-2.
He doesn't know how to slide.
I know how to slide, but I break bricks because it's... I know how to slide, but I break bricks because it's safer, because I'm getting bombarded with enemies that aren't supposed to be there. So I just stand there and throw fire things at everyone.
Look, this is actually like just a quick tip for you. You know that weird shaped block thing right before that thing?
Yeah.
Where like there's usually a couple enemies up on there and some coins?
Mm-hmm.
The far right sort of pillar that like just ends in the air, the top block is a Power Star.
Okay.
So what I do in that spot usually is I get a turtle, hit the turtle across to clear everything out, kill the 2 enemies that are usually sitting in the 2 pits there, and then grab the Power Star, run, slide under, and just keep running across the level. Just make sure to like jump on top of that one thing so that you can get the
Okay. So I didn't,
the 1-up.
I didn't know that there was a Power Star there. Otherwise, I would just grab the star and then slide under. Like you're saying, like normally I just run and stop there and throw fireballs until everything's dead, and then break the bricks to jump over and around.
Yeah, no, I don't waste time with that shit.
I'm adding so much time to just killing enemies, and your progression through the levels doesn't really mean anything in this game. So I'm not.
It doesn't. Like you're right. It like the speed isn't actually all that important.
No.
But I like getting the Power Stars because you can send so many enemies so quickly to your opponent.
Yeah.
Especially if you're getting bombarded with enemies.
And that's why you do attackers, because if, say, you have 3 attackers, you're sending 1 enemy per enemy you kill to each one of those people.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to do attackers.
I mean, sometimes it fucks you because then then you get 3 fucking Bowsers sent back to you, but...
Yep. But then if you get lucky and can kill those 3 Bowsers, you send 3 Bowsers to 3 people.
Yeah, no, I mean, it definitely has its pros and cons.
The way that fucking game goes, you and the last other 3 people are just sending 9 Bowsers back and forth at each other.
So that's actually where finishing the levels quick-ish helps you.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like enemies queue for the following levels. So, like, they do, but they don't. So, like, I have watched people kill a Bowser, but it's been as I was getting up to the flagpole. So, like, I see the Bowser get sent to me, but then I go to the next level and he's not there.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why, like, I try not to rush, like, my default for Mario is rushing through the levels because that's just how I play Mario.
Yeah, mine too.
But, like, in this, like, I definitely have to stop it. That's why I die as often as I do, because, like, I'm still in that mentality of, like, alright, well, I'm just gonna fucking run, because how the fuck else do you play Mario?
Well, yeah, you're in that speedrun mentality because you've been doing Super Mario World speedrunning.
But, no, I mean, even without that, like, I have never not held run in Mario.
Yeah.
Like, just never. I didn't know you could, like, I'd like to say I didn't know you could walk, but I obviously I knew you could walk.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way. I'm exactly the same way. When I play Mario, my in the original NES and SNES controllers, my thumb is always on B, and that's how I've gotten so good at being able to press A and B at the same time to be able to run and jump with only my one thumb.
Yeah, I mean, frankly, the Super Mario Brothers is such a well-designed game that you can just run, and as long as you know when to jump based on, like a pit coming up or whatever, everything is spaced, like, perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you jump, you're making it to the other side as long as you don't jump too early.
Yeah.
And same thing with, like, enemies. Like, enemies, obviously not in Mario 35, but in just regular Mario, like, blind jumps generally don't hurt you because enemies are spaced perfectly for you to just land on them and bounce and keep going.
Yeah.
Or jumping over piranha plants because their hitboxes, or Mario's hitbox is just a little fucked in that original game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I am bummed that that Mario 35 ends in March, but also, like, I'm not gonna play it for 6 months. Like, let's be real.
Yeah, no. It's one of those games that I like, similar with Tetris 99. It's always gonna be on my Switch. It's always gonna be there for, like, oh, you know what? I've got time. Maybe I'll play it. Like, I've got a half hour. Let me play it. Like, it's one of those games. Like, I would definitely love to keep it through past March, but I'm not gonna play it. And honestly, I probably wouldn't even pay money to keep it if they offer that at the end of it, because who knows how many people are going to do that, and it's a total community-based game, so.
Yeah, I don't know how...
Depending on how much it costs, I would think about it.
It would be...
I don't know the legs that this game has for 5 weeks, let alone 5 months.
Like, it would be the same as Tetris 99 did, probably $10. Tetris 99 at $10, and any update after, from that point on, was you got the solo mode, and then whatever
So I
else.
think that might be the problem for it to be $10, is unless they had, like, a roadmap they announced of what they would do to that game, because they can't release solo mode. Like, everyone just wanted solo Tetris.
Yeah.
Which people are going to spend $10 on solo Tetris. Like,
Yeah.
People spend $40 on solo Tetris right now. Like, Tetris is, while I am not good at Tetris is a very good game. But, like, you can play regular Mario 3 different fucking ways on the Switch right now.
Yeah.
Two different ways on the Switch.
Yeah.
So, adding a here's $10 you can play Mario Brothers on here wouldn't work.
I mean, it wouldn't.
No.
I mean, it wouldn't be like you can play solo mode, but maybe pay us $10 and we'll roll out Mario 2, well, not Mario 2. Let's do Mario Secret Levels, which is Mario 2. Maybe Mario 3. Like, maybe even, like, world levels, and not, like, you choose what level you go to, but the levels in each of the Mario games.
Man, that would fuck people up. Also, I don't like Mario Brothers 3. I'm just going to throw that out there. I don't hate it, but, like, it is probably my least favorite Mario game.
I don't have feelings towards love or hate towards it I'm not good at 2D Mario games. I love the 3D Mario games. I'm just not really good at the 2D Mario. So
yeah, see, I prefer the 2D over the 3D. I like the 3D ones. They're all very good, but except for Sunshine. But
bullshit. Sunshine is fan-fucking-tastic.
You're looking at it with nostalgia, my friend.
Man, it is such a good game. Like, even the music was good at that time, too. Like...
Again, you're looking at that with nostalgia.
The secret levels with the jazzy themed rendition of the Mario theme. It's so good.
The secret levels suck. The music's good. I will give you that.
The secret levels are hard as fuck, but
they're also fucking broken.
Not really.
It is common for people to clip through those levels.
It's a Nintendo. It's a GameCube game.
It's a Nintendo 3D game.
Well,
they have bad clipping shit.
It's a game. Any percent speedrun record for Mario Sunshine is an hour 14 minutes right now, and they're working on. Is it an hour 4? Yeah, I think it's an hour 14, and they're working on getting sub an hour 13.
Yeah, that seems about right.
So there's so much clipping in that game that you could do that I'm sure they probably didn't bother to fix in the
no,
All-Stars.
They didn't do anything. Like, they're straight fucking ROMs.
Yeah, I know.
Like, they couldn't... No, you know what they did do, apparently, which I didn't realize? They uninverted everything, and then don't give people the option to invert.
Okay.
Apparently, I didn't know this. I heard it on a few podcasts. Mario Sunshine in particular apparently had inverted controls.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I mean, neither do I. It was 20 years ago. But yeah, the Y-axis was apparently inverted. They uninverted it, which maybe that's why it feels weird to me. Maybe the little bit of Mario Sunshine I played, I remember it being inverted. But yeah, they undid that. That was like the biggest thing they did to the games, and they didn't give you an option to re-invert it. So a lot of people are having trouble because they have played Sunshine on the GameCube in recent years and can't play it like this uninverted.
Yeah. Doesn't surprise me.
No, me either. This is a little surprising though. Blizzard has delayed World of Warcraft Shadowlands expansion.
Oh boy. What is this, their 17th expansion?
It's not that many expansions. It's quite a few though. The reason I included this at all is they don't have a new date for it. So it was originally supposed to come out October 27th. Mm-hmm. It's just been pushed to later this year.
Okay.
But, like, there's only 2 more months after the 27th. You got November, December.
Yeah.
Is that how it works?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
Okay. I thought there was another month in there somewhere.
No, not anymore.
Okay.
So, if they don't... I don't know... They didn't say why they delayed it from what I was reading. So, if they don't get it out in 2 months past the release date, it will be the first time since 2008 that we haven't had a 2-year cycle on expansions.
I mean, if they said later this year, it'll probably be, like, December.
I mean, probably, but at the same time, it's one of those, with the way things have gone this year, it's entirely possible that it falls into early next year.
Yeah.
And, yeah, like, I actually went to the wiki and looked at their expansion releases. So the Burning Crusade was the first expansion. That released in January 07.
Yeah.
So that was 2 years and a few months after it released, because it released in October, November of 2004, if I remember correctly. And then Lich King was almost 2 years later. It was November 2008. And then it's been like that fall, early winter spot since then, every other year. And yeah, that might not happen this year.
Good luck, you WoW players. Hopefully you can handle that.
Well, from what I hear, everybody kind of hates the Battle for Azeroth stuff. So I think a lot of people that play that game were actually excited for Shadowlands and kind of what they were changing.
Yeah.
Because Shadowlands is the one that's dropping level cap back to 60.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they're going to have to wait now. Also, while looking this stuff up, I realized World of Warcraft has been post-Cataclysm longer than it was pre-Cataclysm.
Yeah.
Yeah, which Cataclysm was the expansion that changed Azeroth.
Yeah, and it, like, basically changed everything in the world, and...
Yeah, like, the Barrens have that big, like, fucking divide in it now. That one city in, like, the wetlands on the eastern continent is totally flooded and stuff now.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was... It was 6 years of regular, and it's been 10 years of Cataclysm.
That's great. I love it.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of funny. Because even, I think so I don't know for sure because I haven't played WoW in a very long time, but I think even the starting zones changed. Like, I think, like, if you're a human, that, like, little village you used to start in is all, like, burnt out and stuff now after Cataclysm.
Yeah.
And I know they changed, like, dead mines and stuff after that, too. Like, you don't go after Van Cleef anymore, you go after his daughter.
Yeah.
So it's weird to think about that, like, that stuff is now older than... That stuff has been around longer than the original stuff.
Just play the vanilla WoW that they released.
Dude, apparently that's hard to play. Not, like, hard, like, to, like, play, like, it's hard to launch. Like, it's just hard to play because of all of the life updates that they made to that game that just made things suck less.
But I bet, like, if I went to go play it, I'd have no problem because I only played up until, Burning Crusade.
Did you play any Burning Crusade?
I played, a starting, Blood Elf Rogue. That's it.
So, then no, you probably actually would hate playing Vanilla WoW. Because it got rid of, by the time Burning Crusade came out, there was the looking for group option, where it would, like, teleport everybody to the thing when they started playing.
I didn't play long enough to use that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I got Burning Crusade expansion, played for maybe 3 days, and that's when everybody in the group stopped playing. And that's kind of... I think I was one of a few of us that actually got Burning Crusade. And
I got up through, Lich King.
Yeah, I think it was like you and Vogel kept going up through Lich King, and it was...
No, I got Cataclysm too, fuck.
I got Burning Crusade because I was all excited about it because, like, I think we tended to always play on Horde or Alliance, one or the other, and I always wanted to be the class that you couldn't be in the side that we were playing as. And so I finally got to do that. And I started a character, I started a Blood Elf because they got the new area, and I started the Draenei because they got the new area, and then I stopped.
That sounds about right for that sort of game.
Yeah.
That sounds right. This is a slight aside. A week or two ago, I tried, Elder Scrolls Online, because it's in Game Pass.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like it. Not surprisingly, but yeah.
I mean, it's a lot different than a lot of MMOs, and it's a lot more of an action-y RPG. It's
Skyrim. It's an Elder Scrolls.
It's straight up, it's Skyrim that you can play with people. So, like, I'm not surprised that you don't like it. Like, it's a little bit toned down from what it, like, Skyrim would generally be. And more, class-oriented, which Elder Scrolls games aren't.
Mm-hmm.
Cause I played, they had, like a beta weekend preparing for one of their expansions, and I played that, and I enjoyed it. Not enough to buy it, but I enjoyed it enough to be like, maybe at some time I might get it, but they've expanded that game so much that I don't even know where to start with that.
Yeah, like, I did it, I saw it on there, and I'm like, they always show this game at E3, and like, it looks like it could be kinda cool. It's part of what I'm paying for right now, so like, let me give it a shot. And like, it plays fine, but I don't like the Elder Scrolls anything. Mm-hmm. So like the battle system felt bad. Like I wanted like an MMO. Like I basically wanted to play WoW or Final Fantasy 14, but I don't want to play those two games because there's just way too much baggage on them at this point. Mm-hmm. Also, I don't want to pay a subscription fee.
Yeah.
But
the only MMO I would be able to tell you then that if you want to play would be Knights of the Old Republic.
You mean the Old Republic?
Yeah, just the Old Republic.
And I thought about that, and honestly, if that had gotten a console port the way Final Fantasy or Elder Scrolls did, I'd probably give it a shot.
The only thing you'd have to settle for is if you don't pay the subscription, you level up at 80%.
Which, I mean, that doesn't really bother me, because it's one of those things where I would not play it long, most likely.
Yeah.
Which is why, like, I don't want a game with a subscription fee. I just want to be able to, like, log in. Like, if there's some microtransactions to, like, buy something, like, sure.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't want to fall in that rabbit hole of, like, cool, I'm spending $15 every month, and maybe I'm only playing for, like, an hour.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like, not having something like that I can play on, like, console is kind of a bummer. But, you know, it was I think the only reason I did it, too, is because I played that little bit of Monster Hunter, and it made me like, man, playing, like, an MMO would be fun right now.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I get it.
And then I tried an MMO. I'm like, oh yeah, no, this one is not fun. So I'm gonna.
Yeah, I liked it, but I'm not surprised you didn't like it.
Yeah, I mean, it was also like the beginning of that game felt 100% like Skyrim. Like you wake up in a dungeon, and I don't know about the other Elder Scrolls games. I've only ever seen the beginning of Skyrim. But like you wake up in a dungeon and somebody tells you they need you to help them, and
I think
that was Oblivion too.
Yeah, that's usually an Elder Scrolls game. Like,
okay, yeah,
you wake up somewhere and then stuff happens from there. Like, yeah, was it Oblivion? You woke up in a dungeon and it turns out that your dad was king or something like that.
I think so.
Or like your dad was king and then you get thrown into a dungeon for some reason he got killed. I can't fully remember, but then like you escape from jail. And no one, like, turns and was like, oh, you escaped from the Capitol's prison. Maybe we should arrest you. No, it's, hey, there's a guard there, and he just walks right by you.
Which, I mean, seems to be the same thing in Skyrim and Elder Scrolls Online.
Skyrim is different, because...
slightly. You're about to be executed, and a dragon attacks, and then you run away.
Well, more so, like, the guards not attacking it. I don't know if that's what you were referencing, like, the guards don't acknowledge you being a criminal in Skyrim.
I mean, that, but also just, like, a lot of what you just described in Oblivion is what I saw Erica do in Skyrim.
Yeah, you're just... In Skyrim, I guess you're maybe, like, trying to cross the border or something, and they just kidnap you. And they're like, hey... Or not kidnap you, but take you in. And then they're gonna execute you for no reason. I don't think you ever find out why they were gonna execute you. I've literally never gotten that far in that storyline, because... who fucking plays the story in those games? Besides Eric.
Probably just Eric.
Is PSO2 free?
I don't know.
Thought about trying that?
That game looks weird, and I'm not sure if I would like that.
I played, I think the original was on PSP, or some form of Phantasy Star Online was on PSP, and I played that, didn't like it. So, it's very, like, futuristic sci-fi-y, and, I don't know, it just, to me, it didn't make sense.
Yeah, like, I mean, Jeff from Giant Bomb loves the shit out of that game, so that's...
Yeah, I've watched him play it a few times on different streams, and I'm just like, yeah, this doesn't look like a fun game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
But, like, I mean, I very specifically want that, like, WoW, Final Fantasy 14 sort of gameplay.
Gotcha.
Like, I want to set up macros, and I just want to run around and fucking kill things in fields.
Yeah.
But, you know, it is what it is. It's not a thing that's going to probably last all that long.
No.
So Rich, you've been playing Dragon's Dogma.
Oh, if you want to set up macros and run around killing things in fields, maybe you might like Dragon's Dogma. No, actually, I would consider the gameplay more like, Elder Scrolls Online, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I played, Dragon's Dogma. I said it last week that after watching the anime and being told that the game is world's best.
Oh, we lost Richie.
Oh.
Oh man, I hope his computer didn't crash.
That would be fun.
Oh, that would suck, because, like, he's just gone from this entirely.
He sure is.
Oh, no. What the fuck? I hope his computer is still just recording him talking and he doesn't realize it.
It's quite possible. It would make this segment of the show incredibly funny.
Oh, there you are.
Oh, hey.
Okay. We're gonna do a quick 1, 2, 3 clap, just so I can sync that shit up later, okay?
Okay.
1, 2, 3... Alright, so you were talking about Dragon's Dogma, Rich.
Yeah, sorry about that. I kicked my PC and accidentally shut it off. Yeah, I started playing Dragon's Dogma after watching the anime because I heard the game is so much better. Although still weird and crazy narratively, the game itself and it explains how things go in the world a lot better than how the anime did. Because the anime, like I said last week, was fine. So I started playing it. It's neat. It's interesting. It starts off, you pick which weapon to, like, they call it your, what is it? Do they call it profession? No. What's another word for, like, a job or profession? Not occupation, but something
like you literally said the 3 words I could think of for that.
There's another word. It might be profession then. I can't fully remember. But you pick your class by picking, like, basically what weapons you're gonna start with. So I picked the daggers and a bow. And once you get to, like, the main city, you can pick, like, the more advanced, like, mid-tier, like combination classes. So I'm running around as a magic, what's it called? Like a mage bow user. So my bow has magic in it. It's really neat. And I still have daggers and stuff like that. There's so many damn side quests in the game, because every area you go to just has a quest board that you can just pick them all up. But they're all just kill this many enemies, kill that many enemies. So it's not really something you have to actively go do. There's only one so far that I've picked up where it's like, go here, figure out this stuff, and then go to the thieves' den and fight the thieves in there to get this item. But it's just it looks fine because it's a PS3 game.
That was a PS3 game, wasn't it?
Yeah. Dragon's Dogma, Dark Arisen, which came out on the original Dragon's Dogma came out on PS3, and then Dark Arisen was a cross-generational game that came out on PS3 and PS4. It includes the expansion to Dragon's Dogma. The one thing that, like, I didn't quite get right from the beginning, they don't fully tell you where to go, but they kinda tell you where to go. They give you quests, and it's like, alright, go here, go to the encampment, and you go to the encampment, and you visit there, and you do some training there, and then at one point, there's somebody with a green exclamation mark, which is like a quest indicator. You talk to them, and they're like, you should rest. I'm like, I don't need to rest, I'm fully healed. And then I say, no, I'm not gonna rest. And then I'm not given any direction. So I go back thinking because there was a few cutscenes, I go back to the starting village, and it brings me to the expansion area, which is, like, level 40, 50, and I'm level, like, 1 or 2. And I'm like, why did it bring me here? Apparently, you have to rest to progress the story. And I didn't know. Yeah. So when they're like, you can rest here, you should rest here, with the green exclamation point, and I said no, there wasn't like a, go rest when you have a chance, like, quest or anything open. It was just straight up, I had no main quest lines open, and just all the, like, side quests and shit.
So are you playing this on PS3?
I'm playing on PS4, because it was sub $10 on PS4 when I bought it.
Okay, because I think it was a PS Plus game many years ago.
It was the very first PS Plus game.
Wow. Because I remember trying it on PS3, now that I remember it was a PS3 game, and I only played like 10 minutes, I'm like, I don't like this, and stopped.
Yeah. And, the battle system, like, the beginning of the game is weird, because it brings you right into going after the dragon, and, like, I don't know if it's supposed to be, like, the future, or the past, or something. Knowing what I know of this world from watching the anime, it could be either one. Because based in the anime, spoiler alert, when the Arisen kills the dragon, they become the dragon. And then they go into a portal and then come out at some point to attack the world and find a new Arisen to be killed by the Arisen. It's a stupid cycle. I don't fully understand it, but it's what happens. So like that intro part that you probably played, Cobb, where you go up, you fight at one point a chimera right before you go encounter the dragon, but you then don't get to fight the dragon. That could be either beginning or end. I'm not sure. Like before the game or at the end of the game. I really don't know.
Oh.
Yeah, because of how the timeline could work. But like, there's a few things I wish they had, but this game came out before they started doing this stuff, so I understand why it's not in it. And one of those things is like enemy level markers, because I was given a quest and quest level markers as well. Unless I just didn't see it, I picked a quest which was an escort quest. It's the first time I saw one. You could only take one at a time, and there were 2 available. I took one, and I had to go like down and around this huge mountain. And the first time I tried going for it, I just follow the road, and I get to a point where there's a keep, and I go fighting these, like, just bandits, and usually I can take out bandits with no problem. And there's like 30 bandits coming at me that, like, with all my boosts and power-ups and everything, it takes a full combo to barely take down a portion of their health.
Oh, wow.
And there's no, like, quest markers, there's no level markers for the enemies, and so I end up getting, like, overwhelmed with the amount of enemies and get killed. So it loads up where it last saved, which luckily wasn't too long ago, and because you uncover the map as you run around it, I didn't really know where I was going. I just had a red circle in the general location of where I had to go. I look up the map, find out how to get there, and then I just start hugging the wall because I know the level's too high for me, and I'm like, I want to get this quest done. I end up fighting a chimera probably 10 levels before I'm supposed to, because he's just wandering around in the world. And this fight takes me like 10-15 minutes to kill this chimera using all my healing items, and my enemies dying my allies dying multiple times. Oh, he's having dreams. Chase is having dreams and whimpering. It's adorable. But like, I was just like, why isn't there an indicator that like I'm too low of a level here? Like, why did you let me take this quest that I'm too low of a level for?
Because why not?
I feel like that's something that wasn't like a thing back when these games came, like back around it didn't start like showing level numbers in like single player games until like kind of Destiny era, like more late PS3, early PS4. So like because this game came out, I think mid PS3 initially, like it was like just right before they started telling people like, yo, you should calm down and take a step back or something like that. But I'm having fun. Aesthetically, the game looks fine. Some of the skills are really cool. Like I said, I'm running around as a mage archer, so I have daggers and a magic bow, and I have an ability that like I can aim at several enemies and fire, and it hits all of them, or I can aim at a single enemy and hit them 6 times.
Nice.
And like there's no like magic ability. It's just charge rate. So like if I want to cast the spell to hit 10 enemies, I just have to wait for it to be able to be casted. I don't have a maximum amount of MP, but your stamina does decrease every time you use your special abilities, whether it be magic or non-magical, that if you use too much stamina, you can't move for a bit and you have to like let your stamina recover. But yeah, it's cool. I like it. I actually don't really know how long it's going to take to beat, and I'm not really that far into it, I don't think. Maybe at most level like 14, and probably put like 4 to 5 hours into it. It's going to take me a while because there is so much in the world that like I'm definitely interested in seeing more about this world. Like apparently there's something in the water that like you just can't go swim in it. If you go too deep into water, the brine is going to attack you and damage you. And I've done that. I've gone too deep into water and I start taking damage. I'm like, why is this a thing? What the heck is this? And then I want to try out the expansion because I hear it's hard as hell even at level. But I think I've heard that it's pretty good. So it's a good game. I'll let you guys know fully how I feel about it when I beat it, or if I ever just decide to stop playing it, which won't happen.
I don't know. You might get tired of it sooner rather than later.
No. Let's see. With Pokemon coming out the end of the month, right? Yeah. The expansion, I think it's the end of the month. I've got plenty of time, and then they've delayed some releases for Avengers. So I'm not really focusing on that. I have a lot of games that I'm actively playing, but like some of them are like Mario Sunshine, where I'm like, alright, I can just get to that when I get to that. I'm not too worried about it. But like I'm really focused on playing Dragon's Dogma and beating it because I want to see how it really does compare to the anime.
Yeah, I mean that's actually kind of a cool thing to sort of compare and contrast.
Yeah, because like it's I don't know. I guess you could maybe compare it to like with the Death Note American movie and the Death Note Netflix movie and the Death Note original series. Like maybe they're not really supposed to be the same, but at the same time they can be.
But also that American Netflix film was fucking garbage, and I've never even seen the anime.
And I've heard a few people who've turned them like, I've never seen the anime, and this movie was a decent movie. I turn them like, you're an idiot. You need to watch the anime, and then they're like, oh, it's a cartoon. I'm not going to watch it. Like, then you're an idiot.
You know, that was. It's not even objective. Like that was a bad movie.
Yeah, I know a few people that have seen it, and like, it wasn't that bad. I'm like, it could have been much better. Could have been so much better.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it just should not have happened. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Yeah, true.
Anything else you want to say about Dragon's Dogma?
No. I will say, the game looks nicer, like visually. looks nicer than the anime did.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah, at least it's actually not really, but like it's not as visually appalling as I felt the anime was.
That's okay. That's fair.
Yeah.
So Sony released a PS5 Teardown video today.
Yeah. It was pretty neat.
Yeah. So it was SIE's VP of Mechanical Design, Yosuhiro Otori. And he literally took apart a PS5.
Yeah, I saw this on YouTube like hours after it was live, and I was like, oh, maybe they dubbed it after it was live. They didn't, so I didn't watch it because I was also working at the time.
Oh, I was gonna say because there are captions for it.
Yeah, like there are captions, but I was working, so I couldn't really like watch and read while working.
Yeah, no, that's understandable. Honestly, you not being super like techie might not have really cared too much about it either.
Mm-mm.
Some of the takeaways though, they seem to be doing a lot for heat.
Yep.
And by a lot, I mean there's a giant fucking heat sink.
Like, you know what?
80% of the inside of that thing is a heat sink.
I'm happy with that because my PS4 and when PS5 comes out, my PS5 will be in the same room as my thermostat, so I don't have to adjust for that.
Yeah, so it's like Drew said, it's like 80% of this thing. It looked like it was potentially bigger than the Nvidia 3090, which that thing was already the size of a small dog.
Yeah.
So, there's also, it's a very large, it's a 120 millimeter, thick, exhaust fan that actually is double-sided, so it pulls in the air from both sides.
Mm-hmm.
So it's 120 millimeter diameter.
Yes.
And 45 millimeter thickness.
Thank you. I could not remember how thick it was, but it's much thicker than like 120 millimeter like PC fan.
Yeah. It's a big ass fan.
Yeah. And yeah, so it pulls from both sides to get cooler air in. And there's also dust collectors inside the system, so when you pull off the white casing, which apparently is very easy to remove, there's these two holes that they said the dust will collect there so that you can just use a vacuum to clean them out.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was very interesting. I was like, I wonder how well that'll work.
Yeah, and it looks like it's only on the top side, too, so you don't have to, like, pull both panels off. You can just pull out your console, pull the top panel off, vacuum out the dust, put it back on, and slide it back into its place.
Just the fact that they added, like, the ability to open and close it so that you could clean it out. Because, like, the PS4 doesn't have something like that. You have to take the hard drive out and then spray it out and hopefully get lucky and clean it off. Like, this you can actually, like, open it up and potentially vacuum maybe the entire thing. So,
opening it up, so the one thing to keep in mind is, so the white part of the PS5 is basically the equivalent of, like, the Xbox 360 fucking faceplate. Like, it's just a piece of plastic wrapped around snapped into the sides.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Taking those off does not give you access to the innards of the system. There's still actual casing that you have to use screws and stuff, and like they have the tape and stuff over them because they really don't want you to take it apart.
Yeah.
This is specific, like taking off these covers gives you access to like be able to add the additional hard drive space, which we'll talk about in a minute, or vacuum out these spots for the dust. They also pointed out that the entire back of it is just one big exhaust port.
Mm-hmm.
So the 15-inch long thing is just one big exhaust, which
nice.
Also good.
Yeah.
Especially after hearing reports of the Xbox, at least the prototype ones,
being kind of warm and also turning on and just randomly exhausting heat.
Yeah.
Which apparently the One X does that, and the PS4 Pro. Like, they're not on, but if they're in, like, their standby modes, they will occasionally, the fans will kick on.
I've had my Xbox One, like, kick on randomly. So I don't know if it was doing that as well.
I've never had my One or my PS4 do it, but I've heard the Pro and the X apparently do it.
Okay.
As far as ports go, there are two USB ports on the front, one C, one just regular A, and it's just like a USB 2. So it's, I want to say that's like 2.5 gigabit transfers, maybe. And then on the back, there are two USB 3 ports, which I believe are 5.5 gigabits per second transfer rates, maybe. I know that the back ports are faster than the front port as far as USB-A is concerned. The back also has a single HDMI, an Ethernet port, and like the power plug, obviously. So not a lot going on back there. Not a lot of USB ports either, which isn't a big deal. But at the same time, if PlayStation VR works on it, which it's supposed to, I don't know if that's enough ports for all of it. It's got to be.
Well, I'm trying to remember.
I think I used 3 ports.
It's the headset. Yeah, it's 3 ports, I believe, because it's the headset, it's the eyepiece, and then the controllers. No, the controllers are wireless.
Yeah, I mean camera.
The camera.
But so I'm pretty sure the little like converter box is 2 cables. And then oh shit, you know what? I think that cable box is a proprietary port. I don't think it's USB. So I wonder if the launch PSVRs are not going to work on just standard hardware.
Hopefully they release something that lets it.
Actually, isn't there supposed to be like a dongle that you can get for free? Or is that Xbox that's doing that for something?
I have no idea.
There was something because wasn't there something needed for the Pro for the PSVR?
You know what? I'm honestly not sure. I'll look into it later. It's not a huge deal at the moment. And then they also, so as part of this, they showed that there's a stand for it that it comes with, and the stand is screwed into the bottom. Mm-hmm. So you need a screwdriver to take it off, and you need this stand regardless of if it's vertical or horizontal.
Yeah.
So like you unscrew the stand from the bottom, and then it kind of clips onto the back of it. And that's how you would put it horizontal. The one clever thing they did was they have like a little like cubby on the stand for you to put the screw in if you do unscrew it from the bottom. Mm-hmm. As well as a little like rubber cap that stays in the base, but you can pull out of the base and plug the screw hole on the bottom so that you don't just have an open screw hole there when it's sitting horizontally. Mm-hmm. Is a little bit of a hassle that if you want to change it, you need a fucking screwdriver. But at least they're just giving you the stand. And, like, how often do people change the orientation of that stuff?
I'm just, it's always sideways for me. It's always horizontal for me.
Exactly. Like, there aren't many people out there that are going to be like, well, today I want it to stand on its side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I honestly don't understand why console creators are making standing consoles anymore. Like, the Series X kind of makes sense because it's a big subwoofer, so it can't really stand or sit sideways. But like the PS5, for instance, I don't understand why they make it so that it can stand tall.
Also, the Series X can just go on its side. They actually, Xbox UK did a very snarky tweet of, here's how you turn the Series X from vertical to horizontal, and it's just a picture of it vertical, and then a picture of it horizontal.
Yeah, but it's not going to increase or decrease stability standing up tall, standing horizontal or vertical. Because of how flat that thing lays.
Yeah, well, so it funny enough, it looks like for the Xbox Series X, if you have it standing vertically, there's like a disc-shaped stand on the bottom of it. Doesn't look like it doesn't have to come off or anything like that. It's just there. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then one side of it has 4 little rubber nubs for when it's sitting horizontally.
Mm-hmm. I might have said this before. I don't think that console would fit in my entertainment center right now.
I mean, if that won't, then the PS5 might not. Because they are similar thicknesses when they're horizontal.
Yeah. Okay, I thought it was a lot thicker being horizontal.
No, it's like close. The Xbox is a little bit bigger. It's about 6 inches tall when it's horizontal versus being like 11.5 inches tall vertically. But the PS5 horizontal is like 5 inches plus however much, or I guess it's like 4 inches plus whatever the stand is going to make it. Like, I don't know how much height that adds.
Okay, then we'll see. Who knows? Maybe I might need a new entertainment center.
It's almost like I said this to you like 3 weeks ago.
I know I need a new TV.
So, and to answer your question, I think why they're doing stuff like this, just from what I've been seeing for the way people have had like their like test units set up, a lot of people have like the modern thing now seems to be these very like low, long entertainment stands that with the TV mounted above it. So like the TV isn't on the stand, the TV is actually on the wall. Mm-hmm. So people can then have these things standing vertically on like their thing. And technically at that point they're taking up less real estate because they're taking up the air when they're standing vertically. So there's more space to put things on the actual tabletop. Mm-hmm. But like I don't like mounted TVs, and where we have our TV we couldn't mount anyway because we have that cutout that shows into the kitchen.
You should just put your TV in the cutout.
It wouldn't fit.
Then make it fit.
Yeah, that's not how that works.
No, you can just cut out more of the cutout and make it fit, and then you got this.
Also, I that seems like a bad idea. I wouldn't like the way that looked at all.
I mean, you would like actually wall off the cutout on the kitchen side.
I mean, that's true, but yeah, no, I like having that little cutout. Makes it easy, like to just like pass things.
Yeah.
Also, you guys have been in my house. Like, I don't have a lot of counter space. That ledge is like nice to have to be able to put things on.
Yeah.
Anyway, the last little bit of the breakdown. So he showed us like all of the innards. There's going to be a spot to be able to put an NVMe drive in that you just have to take the white casing off, and there's like a little like spot. I think he unscrewed something to like open up like a little area. But yeah, the NVMe will just slide in there to add additional storage to the system. Mm-hmm. The CPU, the GPU, the memory, and the storage are all just soldered directly onto the boards, so none of that stuff is replaceable.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's not a surprise.
No, I mean, that's how most laptops come that way nowadays. At least storage, not so much, but a lot of stuff is having memory built right onto the board now because you don't need the full stick of memory, and it actually gets a faster bus speed that way. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, seeing the RAM and the solid state drives were interesting.
Yeah, especially because the RAM, like, if you've ever seen a stick of RAM, they're like the RAM is those little black things on the stick. Like, that's where the memory lives. So those things are just fucking soldered right onto the board. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think that was all of really what they showed. It wasn't a long video, but it was definitely interesting to just see kind of how that thing went together.
Yeah, I think it was about like sub 8 minutes. Not even.
Yeah, like 6 and a half minutes, maybe.
I was going to say it was around 10. I was just going to round to a nice round number.
Yeah.
Keeping with the PS5 stuff, though, I just kind of wanted to get your guys' opinions on this. So there's a lot of sort of mixed messaging going out, mostly because Sony is just being very tight-lipped about everything. And it comes with saved games. So it looks like if you have a game that's backwards compatible, that you're just playing the PS4 version of a game on your PS5, you'll be able to carry your save over. Whether it's from PS Plus cloud backups, or if you like manually move it over with like a thumb drive. Mm-hmm. But if you have a PS4 game that gets a PS5 upgrade, it's just kind of like hit or miss whether or not a save will go with it. But it's only on PS5 for some of these games. Some of these games have Xbox upgrades that the saves do go with them. So Avengers, Call of Duty, and Spider-Man Miles Morales. All of their save games will transfer with their PS5 upgrades. And Avengers and Miles are actually free upgrades. Yeah. So, like, Rich, you'll get a PS5 version of Avengers when it comes out if you want it.
Yeah.
And all of your save stuff will transfer because it's a live service game. They kind of have to.
Yeah, I knew that's how it was going to be.
Yeah. And Miles is the same. Like, if you pick up the PS4 version of Miles, get the PS5, you can then upgrade to the PS5 version, and your save will come over.
I honestly didn't know Miles Morales is coming out on PS4.
Yeah, a lot of people were upset because all of the big PS5 games that were known up until like 2 weeks ago are also coming out on PS4. Like Miles, Sackboy, and the next Horizon game, all also on PS4.
Yeah.
But Call of Duty, your stuff transfers over, but you have to pay for the upgrade because it's Call of Duty. They don't give anything away for free.
Yeah.
I don't know that that's true on the PS5.
What do you mean?
I think the PS5 it auto upgrades from the PS4 version.
Only if you bought the like special edition of it.
I'll have to double check. I know the Xbox is super weird about.
Yeah, but the Xbox is weird, and the PlayStation is also weird with a lot of stuff. But the article I read had like the actual verbiage from Activision, I guess it is.
Okay.
Now, games that won't transfer your data. And, like, to be fair, like, not all of these games are exactly big games. Dirt 5, Maneater, Yakuza Like a Dragon, and Spider-Man Remaster. Frankly, the Spider-Man Remaster seems like it sucks that you can't use your save, but also it's a remaster of it. It's not the game from 2018.
Yeah.
So, like, it sucks that there's not a way to do it, but it's also, it's technically a different game. Like, when a remaster of a PS3 game comes out on PS4, you don't get the save from your PS3, right?
Yeah.
But for, like, games like Dirt and Maneater, they're apparently free upgrades that, you know, Maneater's been out for a little while, and it's cool that they're giving you a free upgrade, but why would you even want to upgrade it if you just have to restart the game if you're already in the middle of it?
Mm-hmm.
Same thing, and Yakuza is the really weird one. So it's a free upgrade. The upgrade's not coming out till March, though. The Xbox version launches on 10th with the Series X. So, like, if you buy the Xbox One version, you can get the Xbox Series X version on the 10th when the system comes out.
That's weird.
Upgrade doesn't come out till March for PS5. So if you buy it on PS4, you can play it and then restart it if you get the upgrade in March. But for whatever reason, the Xbox version, the save is just cross-gen. Like, you start it on one, you can pick it up on the other. And, like,
yeah.
It just seems very, like, anti-consumer to have so many games doing that on the console when, like, your competitor is just like, yeah, no, like, we have smart delivery. Like, saves are just going to move.
Yeah, that's definitely super weird.
Yeah, and, like,
I don't know what they have changed to, like, make saves not work like that.
Yeah, like, it's just, I don't know. Especially, like, some of these, like, I know, what was it? Like, any games that went through certification after, like, June had to be playable on PS5, right? Was that the deal? Or something similar to that?
That sounds right. I don't know what the dates were. I could also just be confusing it with the PS4 Pro stuff.
I'm pretty sure that was the case. So, like, I think Maneater came out in July. I'm not sure when Dirt 5 came out or if it's not out yet or whatnot. But, like, why not just make that part of the has to play on the system is, yeah, your upgrade also has to support the save. Because, like, if the same game can do it on another console, what is so different about this console?
Well, so, on that question is, what was Sony looking for? Like, I want to say what we're asking the developers for is that the game has to work, the PS4 game has to work on the PS5, and all the PS4 stuff will work with the PS4 stuff playing inside of a PS5, but not necessarily if your PS5 version of a game has to work with PS4 data.
Oh, no, I mean, that's definitely what they were asking for, but it just seems like if you're going to make one stipulation, make them both. Make them, if you're offering an upgrade, your save data has to go.
Yes, I mean, I agree with that, but it doesn't seem like that's what Sony was asking to be done when they were asking for that. So.
The fact that some games let you do it on one and not the other makes it seem like maybe Sony's architecture is just so fucking weird that they just can't.
Agreed, although it doesn't seem like they've changed anything, really.
Yeah, well, no one has even seen the UI yet.
This is true. Well, apparently some people have, but haven't been able to say anything about it.
Yeah, there has been no coverage on anything about this console, like, doing things. Which makes you wonder, like, is it just not fucking done yet? Is the UI going to be like some weird, like a Windows install where when you get your PS5 on the first day, you have to download, like, the feature update to make it actually play games? That'd be fucking weird and funny.
Well, there are some Japanese YouTube channels that have it.
Yeah, but I don't think they've shown anything. They haven't shown any of the UI or anything for the console.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's weird how just, like, tight-lipped and just, I don't know, they're being very cagey about everything for this console in a way that, like, they weren't for the PS4. But, like, the PS4 was also doing all the things that people wanted it to do, which makes you just wonder, like, is this console going to be the Xbox One of this generation, where, like, it just doesn't do anything people want it to do? It's still gonna likely outsell the Xbox because Sony has the stronger first party lineup.
Mm-hmm.
And frankly, like, at this point, people buy their console based on first party content because why wouldn't you?
Mm-hmm.
But I know, like, the Xbox saves just seem to fucking work. Like, I have played a game on my Xbox, and then 10 minutes later picked up my phone and started playing it on my phone, and it immediately loads my save that I just had. Like, I don't have to do anything crazy. It just automatically uploads the save to the cloud and then pulls it right down through xCloud. And I know the PlayStation's not great about backing up saves to the cloud. Like, it does, but sometimes it doesn't. So a lot of people recommend that you actually go in when you're done playing a game and manually make sure that it's uploaded so that you don't lose anything if your system dies.
Yeah.
I've never done that. And I feel like me saying that means that, like, none of my saves are probably uploaded and my PS4 is going to die and I'm going to lose all of my game data. But
Well, we'll do that soon so that in case that happens, you can just wait until the PS5 comes out.
I don't even know if I'm going to get a PS5. Like, I mean, I'm going to get a PS5. I don't know when I'm going to get a PS5.
Oh, you didn't get a pre-order, did you?
No.
I forgot that.
No. And GameStop was the only retailer that ever put up more pre-orders after Sony said retailers were getting more pre-orders.
I think others had pre-orders, but they just didn't announce that they were putting them up.
No, because I follow Wario64 and he tweets that stuff even when it's not available anymore. And he hasn't tweeted about any of the other retailers. So what I think probably happened was a lot of retailers oversold their pre-orders because of the shit show that happened when they launched them.
Yeah.
And, like, the additional units weren't enough to actually allow them to do another round of pre-orders.
Yeah.
But who knows? Like, there may just be some available in store, like, on launch day.
Yeah. I think GameStop used to do that at least, right? They used to, like, hold a few just to sell at launch day.
GameStop usually would have like, depending on the console, like, they would always have some, like, the Wii was the only one that was really, like, impossible to find. But that was also artificial, shortages. This might be a real shortage just because production's been kind of wacky for both of them, frankly. But your big box stores are the ones more likely to have, like, large quantities, like your Best Buys, your Walmarts. Like, there's a better chance of walking into a Best Buy and them having, like, 10 units, than a GameStop, frankly.
Yep.
What is next?
Well, so I did some quick reading for Call of Duty on PS4 and 5's versus Xbox One and Series X. PS4 and 5, if you get the physical copy, you can pay $10 to upgrade it. If you get the digital copy, you can also pay $10 to upgrade it, or you can pay an upgrade, pay for, like, the upgrade version, which you can play it on both consoles. Well, it's the cross-gen bundle, which is just $70, so it's still $70. It's still the extra $10. The Xbox, if you get the physical copy, you cannot upgrade it to next gen.
That's where the weirdness was. Okay.
You can still, same with the PS4 to PS5, you can still play your Xbox One version on the Series X and your PS4 version on your PS5. You just don't get the next gen enhancements, but you can just get the $70 Xbox Series X version. Or if you get the digital copy, it's a $10 upgrade fee. Or the $70 cross-gen bundle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright. Moving right along. Apparently Jamie Foxx is going to be Electro again in the next Spider-Man movie.
I didn't hate him as Electro. I didn't hate that movie like a lot of people did.
Yeah, I liked both of the Andrew Garfield movies. I like the Amazing Spider-Man's better than the Raimi trilogy.
I don't know why people hated that movie so much, but I thought Jamie Foxx was good as Electro. I honestly thought visually he looked like what Electro would look like.
Well, Electro's skin isn't changed in the comics. Well, in the Ultimate Universe it was, but in, like, your standard universe, he still just looks like a guy. He just has electric powers. He wears a funny suit.
I thought he changed.
Like, there have been I think around the time that Amazing Spider-Man 2 was coming out, he got, like, supercharged and changed. But I think they did that specifically to try and have him match the movies a little bit better.
Okay.
But he is apparently not going to be the same Electro. Because he put out on, like, Instagram that he would not be blue this time around.
Yeah, so he's going to be, like, the non-Ultimate version of Electro. Like, the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies were kind of more based off the Ultimate version than they were, like, normal Spider-Man.
I mean, most of the MCU for a long time was more Ultimate than anything.
Yeah, but I like this. I like to see Jamie Foxx as Electro again to see if he can do a better job. Like I said though, I thought he did great or fine in the Garfield version.
Yeah, and I like Jamie Foxx. Like, he's good in things. So
yeah,
Yeah.
he absolutely is.
Also, this movie's supposed to come out next fall.
Nope.
Like, it's apparently it's actually starting to film soon.
We'll see about that.
I'm sure that was the original schedule before they had to push back all of Phase 4.
No, but like, it hasn't been delayed yet. It is still scheduled for fall 2021.
Good luck. I don't think the fact that they just announced that Electro is going to be in it. I don't think they're anywhere near ready to start filming.
No, I mean, they're scheduled to start filming like later this month.
I don't think they're gonna. I think it's gonna get delayed. They just haven't come out and said it because they don't want to.
I mean, I think the movie is going to get delayed from opening, but they will probably start filming stuff soon. Because, you figure, they can't just delay filming, because they're supposed to film in New York, which means they have permits and stuff to film in specific locations at specific times. Unless production gets shut down because somebody tests positive for COVID, they can't just not do that because they might not be able to get the permits to film again.
Yeah.
Making movies in New York City is fucking tough.
Yeah, that's why a lot of people went to Atlanta, because Atlanta is just giving away permits to film down there because it's
Atlanta
cheaper.
and Vancouver.
Yeah.
And especially Vancouver is perfect because you can kind of get any aesthetic you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
You can do the city, you can do the nature, it can be dark and gritty, it can be sunny and happy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the difference between the CW shows. They're all filmed in Vancouver.
Yeah. And you can tell that they're all filmed in Vancouver because they do reuse a lot of scenery. Because for instance, the Flash their main headquarters is the arena. I've seen that arena in Star City on Arrow a number of times.
Yeah, it's just they do some CG to it to make it look a little different.
They just make it darker, and they film it at night so that it looks different.
Yeah. But speaking of movies coming out, the Batman isn't coming out when it was supposed to anymore.
Well, I mean, they had to take that break because Pattinson tested positive.
Yep. So the Batman has been moved from October 1st of 2021 to March 4th of 2022.
Okay.
To kind of equal that out, though, The Matrix 4 is moving from April 1st of 2022 to December 22nd of 2021.
Interesting.
So it actually moved up a few months. WB is also shuffling a few other movies around. The Flash is moving from June 2nd of 2022 to November 4th of 2022. Okay. Shazam! Fury of the Gods is moving from November 4th, 2022 to June 2nd of 2023. And then Black Adam with The Rock just doesn't have a release date at all anymore. It was supposed to come out December 22nd, 2021, though, when The Matrix is scheduled now.
Mm-hmm.
Wonder Woman 1984 is still set for December, though.
Nice.
I mean, yes, but it's a theatrical release, so it's not going to do well?
No, it's not. No, even Tenet, which was Nolan's movie, didn't do well. And Nolan's movies always do great.
Do they? Do they do... that wasn't a sarcastic. Do his movies do great in theaters?
I mean, I might just be going off of my own personal experience, but anytime I've seen a Nolan movie, I've had a good time, and I think they're generally critically acclaimed. I'd have to look it up. It just might just be me pulling it out my ass.
I mean, critically acclaimed does not necessarily always mean super good box office numbers. Yeah,
and it's not that important to look up or anything. I haven't watched a Nolan movie that wasn't a Batman movie since Inception. Interstellar and that war movie just had zero interest to me, and so Tenet doesn't look all that much more interesting.
Yeah, I've always enjoyed Nolan movies.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely has his niche and people that are really into his movies. I think he's a good filmmaker. I really like the Batman trilogy, and Inception's a very good movie. Just the idea behind Interstellar and Dunkirk were just not interesting to me. And same thing with Tenet.
Yeah.
I did want to see Dunkirk. I heard that was pretty awesome. Never did.
I did. I heard good things about it too. It just was one of those I don't need to see that.
Yeah.
But Rich, you watched a Challenger documentary on Netflix, which is that the Challenger space shuttle disaster?
No, it's about a guy who runs over and challenges people on things. Yes, it's about the Challenger space shuttle. It was good. I had it. I think it came out within like the past week or so. And it was just, I was constantly eyeing it up, like I need to watch this. It might even be older than that, and it just took me this long to watch it. But it is a four hour, it's four episodes, 4 1-hour episodes, documentary about the Challenger, shuttle disaster from '86, leading, like, all the information leading up to it, why it was such a big deal, why they decided to have a civilian on the ship.
Right, because there was a teacher too. I forgot about that.
Yes, it would have been the first. She would have been the first civilian to go up out in space, and they basically turned around and said that like they were doing that because like interest in space was declining, and they wanted people to be interested again. So they basically had this PR stunt to send a civilian up into space to be like, hey, we're going to start bringing normal people, non-astronauts, out into space. Kind of similar to this most recent launch that I talked about with SpaceX, where like it's supposed to aid in the future of like industry going up there and running tests. That was their idea with the Challenger mission in '86. Send up a teacher, then eventually send up corporations to run tests on in the zero gravity on the space station. It is very fascinating to find out that a lot of people knew that at some point those rockets were going to blow up. And that I did not know that launch was delayed 3 times before they launched. And it was a, 10-hour session for them to decide whether or not to launch the day that they launched. And that, this could have been stopped if they took more, or this could have been, they didn't have to go up that day. And the day that they launched, super cold, freezing temperatures overnight. When they woke up, there was 12 to 20 foot icicles hanging off the scaffolding and things like that because they needed to run water to make sure the pipes didn't freeze in the rocket and in the shuttle. And there was an O-ring issue that they've known about for several years. And they could not explain why these O-rings were causing issues. And the last time they launched a shuttle up using these 2 rockets, which are reusable rockets, the O-ring both O-rings, which one is a failsafe for the other, they were both singed and sooted up and tarnished that, they didn't want to fly this, especially in the cold temperature. Because if rubber gets cold, it doesn't hold its elasticity, so you need longer time for it to warm up so that it becomes more rubbery and less, what's the word? Less solid, I guess. I don't really.
I was going to say solid, or
yeah, but if you put a rubber band in a freezer and take it out, the rubber band won't stretch as much, and it might even tear.
Pliable,
I guess. But they even one of the after the disaster, they had hearings about what happened, and one of the not lead, but a high renowned winning astrophysicist and just physicists in general ran this very simple test of a rubber band held together with a clamp in a cup of ice water, and he runs this test and just it blows people's minds. You shouldn't have ran the shuttle, especially with the with what was going on. Hold on, I'll be right back.
You all right?
Yeah. Alright, let's get back to things.
So, what you were saying about Challenger?
Yeah, so the astrophysicist, he just runs this quick experiment during this, press conference, and people just, are in awe. If anyone else had done that, it would have been, they would have been a laughingstock, but because this guy did it, and showed this, everyone, it, blew everyone's minds. And it's just, it was a very fascinating documentary. If you're really into, the space shuttle launches and space in general, you might like this because it also goes into detail post the disaster about there had been no other major malfunctions until the 2003 explosion. I think it was 03. It might have been 08. I can't fully remember. I think it was 03 though. The 03 explosion of Columbia, and then shortly after that they they retired the shuttle missions in general and the space shuttles. I'm hoping that they do like a Columbia doc too, because that would be very interesting to see.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was cool. It was like similar to how you did your high score, or how you told me about your high score documentary on there. Like, I worked and had that on as the background because you really didn't need to watch it. It was just a lot of information that I just listened to while I was looking. It was good.
Yeah, it's nice to have something like that on in the background that, like, when you can focus, it's interesting, but if you're busy, it's not, like, end of the world.
Yeah.
So, this is kind of shitty. Netflix has canceled Glow. Even though it renewed it for a fourth and final season.
Yeah.
Yeah, Drew, did you keep watching that, or did you only watch the first season?
No, we never got around to watching the second or third.
It's good. Like, it's actually a very fun show. And it was supposed to have a fourth season, but Netflix decided to cancel it anyway, due to COVID, which, you know, I'm sure they could have just waited and done it later. But Netflix is like that. Netflix cancels everything, like, without very much thought, it seems.
Yeah.
But in slightly better Netflix-related news, Cobra Kai Season 3 is going to release on Netflix on January 8th, and it was already renewed for a fourth season that will maybe not get canceled.
It's about damn time that we have a release for Season 3 that has been filmed since 2019.
Yeah, you are not wrong.
I'm happy that they got renewed for Season 4. That's one of the main reasons why I rewatched it after it went on Netflix, to just give it that little boost in numbers. Plus, it's just a really good damn series.
It is.
But, like, I'm so glad I finally get to see what happens to Miguel and shit like that. Like, it's been a year and a half. It'll have been a year and a half since I'd last watched the show when this season comes out. Or not last, but since I'd first seen the second season. Because it came out, spring of was it spring 2019? Yeah.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Yeah, spring 2019.
Yeah. But I'm happy that they're getting that fourth season.
Yeah, same. And the third season's only a few months away at this point.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'll probably end up watching the series one more time. or like watch it through before I watch season 3.
Yeah, it's short at least. Like,
yeah,
it's not hard to. They're half-hour episodes, right?
Hour.
Oh, are they hour? For some reason, I thought they were half-hour.
I think they're an hour. I can't remember. I think they might be like 40-something minutes or whatever.
Yeah, but either way, like they're short seasons. It's quick to get through. It's entertaining, especially if you have any nostalgia for the old Karate Kid stuff.
Yeah.
This last bit of news is probably something a little more interesting to you, Rich. They moved up the Monster Hunter movie release to December, this December.
Cool.
It was originally supposed to release in the spring. And I put on the outline, putting it in December of this year feels like they're just writing it off and just trying to get rid of it. Cause no one's gonna go fucking see it.
No, they're probably trying to find a way to get it just out and into Blu-ray, whatever, streaming as fast as possible, and whatever contracts they wrote with for releasing it in theaters, they just have to keep with it. They might think that they're going to get more money if they do it in on demand, but they're not allowed to because of stupid contract reasons, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's not entirely implausible.
But I said this to you guys. There was a not even 14-second teaser trailer released last week. It gave me it triggered me to flashbacks of playing and fighting that creature, because it's the Black Diablos. It does the same exact movements that it does in the game, has the same exact roar, and I see that and I'm just like, oh no, oh man, I'm cautiously pessimistic about this movie.
Yeah, because how do you feel about the fact that it's basically an isekai? It's a bunch of modern world soldiers with guns and shit get pulled into the Monster Hunter world.
I think it's the other way around. It is the monsters come into our world.
No, I'm pretty sure it's they get pulled into that world.
I don't know. I haven't really read too much into it. I have a feeling it's going to be bad, but I'm kind of hoping it. Like I said, instead of being cautiously optimistic, yeah, I'm cautiously pessimistic. I think it's going to be bad, but there's a chance it could be good.
Here's the the premise. An elite military force led by Lieutenant Artemis fall through a portal into a world populated by giant monsters. They meet a hunter who helps them to survive in the world and fight against the monsters as they seek a way home.
Okay, so they do. Okay, I mean, they've done that before in the Monster Hunter games with the Final Fantasy crossover. Maybe Witcher as well. They like mysterious portals brought Final Fantasy characters and the Witcher over into the Monster Hunter world. So I guess sure that's a thing, but I thought it was the other way around. But
yeah, and to be fair, the guy who's making this is the same guy that did all of the Resident Evil movies. Yeah,
which is why Mila Jovovich is in it.
Yeah, because that's his wife.
That's his wife, and they're a package deal.
Yeah, but like most of those Resident Evil movies, not very good. Like the first one was good, and most of the ones in the middle were pretty fucking bad.
Yeah, but they somehow made money. Like there's 9 of them or 8 of them,
something like that.
Like they made money because they're not very low budget movies.
No, they're not, and like that's the crazy thing. And so apparently, this Monster Hunter movie, the budget's only $60 million.
Wow, really?
With how the monster looked in that teaser, I'm surprised it was that low because the monster looked really good.
So that means either most of the monsters look like shit, or there's very few monsters.
I wouldn't be surprised that there's going to be fewer monsters because like. In Monster Hunter, in the world, like the monsters you fight, there's generally not a lot of them, but the reasons you fight them is because they're gonna cause issues. So, like, yeah, in the game you fight 150 Diablos to get that one piece, but in reality, in the world, you've fought that Diablos once, because he was going to attack the village, or he was gonna cause issues in the environment, or whatever, and you needed to stop him. So it wouldn't surprise me that there's only maybe like 5 monsters or a handful of monsters or their screen time isn't that high.
Both.
Yeah.
So actually, going back and kind of looking, apparently the Resident Evil movies didn't really have great budgets either.
Really?
So the very first one was a $33 million budget, and the last one was a $40 million budget.
Oh wow.
And
I haven't watched since I think the third one. Was the third one when they fought Tyrant? Yeah, because it was in the desert, and she went into the... Yeah, I think she fought Tyrant in the third one, and somehow had magic powers, and she was a clone, it turned out.
Yeah, so these things don't make a ton of... Like, the Resident Evil movies didn't make much money, especially not compared to, like, what movies make anymore. They made under $200 million, but their budgets were basically nothing. Yeah, compared to these movies, so that is why they technically made money, because they cost nothing to make.
They more than doubled their budget.
Yeah, exactly. So at $60 million, like it'll probably it won't make its money back in the box office because no one's going to the fucking movies.
Domestically, no one's going to the movies. Globally, there's when we were just talking about Tenet made $200 million globally.
Yeah, but that's a movie that would have probably gotten closer to making $1 billion.
True, but you also don't know the East's love for Monster Hunter. They might go see it anyway.
I don't know if they're going to go see a movie that's I don't know if they're going to go see a movie like that, like an Americanized Monster Hunter movie.
There is that.
There's that. Like it's up in the air. The way I think it's up in the air. But yeah, I totally agree and get what you're saying. But there is a chance, it could make money. We'll have to just wait and see until December.
Well, I mean, there's also the chance by December there are no more movie theater companies to actually put a movie in a theater.
Yeah, because this isn't in the news. But because the new Bond movie got delayed again. Regal is shutting down its UK and US theaters.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Or they're shutting. They're dead. Yeah, Regal is going out of business.
I read it as they were closing their theaters, but I don't. Is it truly they're done?
I mean, at this point, if they're gonna make zero money for 2020, what are the odds they have any money to reopen their business?
True. But all of their UK and US theaters for now are at least closed, and they're not opening up.
Wow.
At least, like, I haven't gone back and read any of the articles since seeing the headlines, but it all seemed to not be temporary closures at this point.
Mhm.
Like, they are closed.
Yeah.
All those theaters.
Yeah, I didn't read the article fully. I meant to, but I do remember seeing that, and it's just, yeah, so... And we know... What was
AMC has spent this whole year basically on the verge of shutting down.
Yeah, and so without James Bond, and seeing as how I think Tenet was 50 million domestic, which was shit, like, they're probably done too.
Yeah, most likely. Oh shit, there was something else I was going to mention that didn't make it to the news. This is just a real quick PS5 thing. It looks like the PS5 may actually have trophy tracking. Sony France accidentally put out something with it in there, but it appears that, like, if a trophy requires you to find like 5 of something in a game, you'll be able to on the PS5 go in and actually see how many of an item you have gotten towards that trophy.
Cool.
Yeah, which, like, that's a thing that people that go looking for trophies that, like, want to platinum games, like, have wanted for years. So that's cool that they're finding a way to incorporate it, especially if it works. But yeah.
Okay, so Tenet was about 45 million as of, when was this posted? As of the 4th, Tenet was 45 million domestically, 262 million globally.
Yeah, that's not much for a movie like that.
No.
Especially globally, like, when you figure, like, that's the entire fucking planet.
Yeah.
Like, that 200 million is what the US would do. Usually, like, your China and like, other Asian markets would just blow that out of the water for something like that.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Sorry. So, the last thing I have on here is just gonna be really quick. Erica and I started watching Pitbulls and Parolees. I don't know if either of you have ever watched that show before.
No. I've heard of it.
I've probably seen it. Like, I've never actively sat to watch it, but, like, maybe Animal Channel was on and I just left it there.
Yeah, so I've known of it for the longest time and I was just never interested in it. Like, it seemed stupid. But they kept playing just, like, marathons of it on Sundays and there was nothing else on, so we just kind of had that playing. And we both got super addicted to it. To the point where, like, we went on demand and we've been not like YouTube on demand, like, we're not paying extra for it. And we've been just watching it from season 1, like the episodes that are available. Mm-hmm. It's a really interesting reality show that you can 100% tell a ton of stuff is scripted, or at least, like, redone for the show. But there's plenty of things, like, specifically involving the dogs, that, like, there's no way they could be scripted.
Yeah.
And, like, some stuff that, like, natural disasters that happened, like, you can see them happening in the show and you can just look online and be like, oh yeah, no, that area was on fire at that time of year. Yeah, no, that's real.
Yeah.
But I mostly brought it up because October is actually Pitbull Awareness Month. Mm-hmm. And they're good dogs.
They are. They're very good dogs. They need a lot of care and proper training, but they can be very good dogs. And they're very loyal.
Yeah. They're basically the friendliest dogs in the world to people. They're just, they have a breed disposition to aggression with other animals.
Yeah.
But, like, not all of them do. And
yeah.
Generally, like, if you get it as a puppy and you train it right, it's going to be a very wonderful dog.
Yeah.
Like, Ben is at least part pit bull. He loves everything. Like, he loses his mind when he sees other dogs because he wants to go play with them.
Yeah.
Like, no part of that dog has ever shown aggression, even when other dogs, like, are aggressive towards him. He's just like, no, I just want to be your friend. Can we play?
Yeah.
If we run around, can we play? But yeah, it's a weirdly good show.
Nice.
And, like, they seem to be doing a really good thing. And, like, the early seasons, they were strictly a pit bull rescue, but now they'll rescue anything that needs it. And it seems like they're based in Louisiana, like in New Orleans. And that place is just fucking rampant with stray dogs and stuff like that. Like, the amount of times that they find, like, these dogs, like, emaciated with, like, just, like, disgusting wounds. Like they found dogs that they've gotten x-rays on them, and they have, like, BBs embedded in them from somebody shooting them with a BB gun and then just leaving them to go wander the streets.
I hate people so much.
Yeah, like, we were just watching an episode from, it's like season 3 or 4. It's whatever season they get to New Orleans.
Yeah.
And they get a call, and it's a call that there's a dog and pup and like it's a mother and puppies that have been living under a house, and the mother's like aggressive because her puppies are there. And they're told that these two teenagers keep going and hanging out and trying to lure the dogs out because they probably want to use them as bait dogs for fighting. And like they get set up like they go to like try and get the dogs, and like they bring fencing and like fence this abandoned house off. And like the kids come walking by while they're doing it, and you can tell like the kids are pissed, but like they had them blurred out and all because they wouldn't sign any waivers. But like the kids walk down the street, and then like the camera is like recording them as they walk away, and like you can see them arguing and like pointing at the house. It's like, man, you guys suck.
Yeah.
Like, man, go fucking fight yourselves and get killed.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's that. I think that is all we have, though, unless either you guys have anything else.
I have just been playing a shit ton of Hades.
That's fair. That seems like a real good game, like we talked about last week.
Yep.
I wanna throw a quick I guess PSA out right now. I don't know. You guys both probably do follow me on Twitter. I don't know how often you see my tweets, but
I've actually blocked you.
Okay. But I had a thread tweet. It was a 2-tweet thread tweet. I think yesterday, or might have been today. Because people are bitching and moaning that Critical Role hasn't had new episodes over the past 2 weeks. And I just want to outwardly say, you guys gotta chill the fuck out. Like, people are sitting there complaining that like, oh, it's just a game. Why don't you play it? Why can't you guys just play this game? I tweeted out, I'm like, look, I understand that this is maybe like a release or an escape for some of you guys, but this is their job. And if they don't think they can bring a premium quality content out, they're not going to do it. They also are running a charity, running an organization, have their own other jobs like voice acting, and have their own personal lives. So if they don't have the time to record 2 episodes to release, you just gotta chill the fuck out and fill 4 hours a week some other way.
Yeah, and it's not like, I know people pay for like Twitch subscriptions and everything like that to be able to watch the on-demand and everything, but the show is free.
Yeah.
So, like, for the people that pay for the subscription, sure, that sucks for you, like, but at the same time, like, it's released for free, you don't have to pay for that subscription.
I saw somebody complain, they've already taken so much time off this year. I'm like, because there's a fucking pandemic.
Yes.
They needed to make sure they were all healthy. One of the players, Taliesin Jaffe, one of his roommates is immunocompromised. So they need to make sure they're taking every precaution. So if he gets it, so he doesn't get it, so that he doesn't potentially kill his roommate. But like they needed to take the time off because they weren't allowed to film, and then when they released like regulations on how to film, they needed to set up a set in order to do that, which takes time because there's a pandemic. So yeah, they're gonna take a lot of time off because they couldn't play. And it just like it pissed me off so much that people, yeah, and I agree with you. Yeah, it sucks for the people who subscribe to their Twitch, but you can go 2 weeks without Critical Role, or you can just start rewatching from the beginning again. Just go back and watch it. If you really need your Critical Role, go back and watch episode 1 of Campaign, and just go from there. And anytime they're off, watch the next episode. It makes me so mad that like nerds are this so demanding. I friggin' hate them.
I mean, that's the internet, though, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That's all. I just wanted to, like, air that out.
Bitch for a minute?
And complain. I've had a shitty work week, so I needed to complain about something.
It's fine. You complain all the time. We get it.
I know.
Anyway, if you'd like to find more of our content, you can head over to www.one-quest.com. You can also help us by supporting us at patreon.com/onequest. Can't support us there with dollars, though. You can go to your favorite podcast platform like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, all those sorts of places. You can rate us, review us, subscribe to us. All those things help a whole bunch. You can find us on social media, facebook.com/onequestonline or at @1_quest on Twitter and Instagram. Our YouTube channel is youtube.com/onequestvideo, and you can send us emails to social@one-quest.com. Otherwise, we'll be back next week with something else. Thanks for listening. Bye.
See yous.
Bye.